Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Sin just picked up the first game of the best of 3 series against Avant Gaming in a very decisive fashion.
I mean, it was decisive in the end. They had some very good early game team fights. They kind of fumbled the early game and let AV have a window back in, but ultimately they were able to close it out. And I mean, we saw it all through the gauntlet for these guys. It really is the Triple versus Ryoma show. FBI has now joined that fray. Rogue had a good game, but there are so many people that you could point to from the AV and Sin lineup that if you want to be top 2 teams, if you want to be able to challenge the Direwolves, you have to pick up the play. And I think that this game, you know, settle the nerves. It's the first game of the week, but let's see if they are able to take it to that next level, because that was scrappy from both teams, Fish.
It was very scrappy from both teams, and one player we can really look at as well heading into this match again is Blinky. He wasn't on Ash, he was not on Varus. This time it was on one of his signature champions, Kalista. Didn't see too much from him in that game. Was that really Blinky's fault, though? I
mean, I think it was, because he was a part of the initial quadra kill that went down. 3 of them went over to Ryoma and 1 went to FBI. So I think that, you know, you can put blame on everyone there. But at the same time, he had a good laning phase with Jake. They were able to win that one quite heavily. So I think that, you know, if those kills don't go down in the early game, potentially it looks a little bit different.
This game, we have standard red side bans. Sin will be the one that ban out Zac, Elise, as well as Galio. That gives over Caitlyn, so Blinky's going to have a chance to redeem himself heading into the second match. But again, Sin, they're forced to ban Zac no matter what side of the rift they're playing on.
Yeah, exactly right. Don't want to give that one over to Sybil. Big news, however, is, you know, things like Cassidy are still available, which we've seen on red side a lot, and you can ban away the counters. Yep. Things like Fiora are still available. You can ban away counters for that, as well as Jace up in there in the top lane for Doppler. And Jungle Pool hasn't been completely gutted just yet.
Has not. The AV side of bans, we have Talia being taken away, so they don't want Ryoma to have a repeat performance. Rogue is not going to be able to get his Thresh this game, and Gragas has been taken away, but Sin, they lock in Zyra, which I really like for Rogue, takes it away from Jake, who has been using that champion quite phenomenally so far, and Jubes goes straight back to Kha'Zix.
That's strange to me, because Lee Sin is still available, and Kha'Zix is, you know, a little bit more damage and assassination, but doesn't bring the utility. And Jubes hasn't had the games where he's, you know, got a couple of early game kills and started popping off. We'll see whether he's able to get into that top lane. Normally when he is really effective in the early game, it's, you know, those level 3 ganks top. But he gives over arguably Sybil's best champion here behind Zac, which is absolutely busted.
And AV look to go for Renekton again in the top zone map. Very heavy priority pick for series.
Yeah, really don't like it out of series. I mean, he's had a good laning phase, but after that was nigh irrelevant. As you said, he's kind of good at no items, then good at 3 items at the moment, Renekton. Just not fitting in. And we're going to have them go back towards Jhin and actually hide both solo lanes here, so very hard for AV to ban out.
Yep, so Ryoma's going to be locking in FBI's AD carry here. And speaking of Ryoma, it's his 18th birthday tomorrow. So happy birthday to him. Picked up a win so far for Sin. Let's see if he can get the 2-0.
Yeah, did he pick up a win? Let me tell you, had a very good game 1. If you're a Talia player and you want to know how to collapse around team fights and also help out a losing split push lane, Ryoma certainly was doing everything all over the map.
So which bans do AV go for here? Because they're going to get counter picked at both lanes.
Throw a Syndra ban in there. I don't know. Depends if you want to get rid of Orianna as well, or whether Triple wants to take it.
Well, there's that Syndra ban.
I don't think he can get rid of Orianna, because he might just blind Vladimir into you. I mean, there's so many things that he can do right now. And taking away your range supports off Jake is certainly a good tactic here.
And those are the 2 supports that generally do well against Zyra as well. Karma as well as Lulu. You still have Misfortune available, but she hasn't seen much competitive play.
No, we're not seeing a Misfortune game. If we see anything, it'll be a Nami coming out, and they'll just look to live through the lane. Also match the shove a little bit.
Echo, another ban from AV. So let's see what Sin decided to do. They have counter-pick top lane here, but they could prioritize their pick for Ryoma with these mid-lane-centric bans coming out from AV.
I mean, is it really prioritizing a pick? That's better. A little bit of a flex there. Ryoma can play at mid. Doppler definitely can play at top. Will be comfortable into the Renekton matchup as well. I was going to say, I mean, she's blinding a LeBlanc there. I actually don't think that's priority at all. I think that's just, you're scared what Doppler is going to have to play into on the top side of the map.
I mean, a couple of players have told me that Renekton does well against a Jace. I don't believe that for 1 second.
I mean, you go Dorian Shield, you pick up your boots too as well, and you don't really take that much damage. You shove out quicker than him. But yeah, it's not the ideal matchup. You don't say, you know, as a Renekton player, let me counter pick the Jace.
Let me just, you know, have this Renekton matchup for myself, top lane against a champion that outranges me and can knock me away every time to dash in. That's going to be a fun and enjoyable matchup.
Hey, mate, you have 2 dashes. He only has 1 knock away.
Yeah, true.
The law of mathematics says...
It's on Renekton's side. Don't quite believe that one either. Orianna has been locked in for triple. That's the champion that gave Sin nightmares in their gauntlet match against AV.
They have a squishy comp so far as well.
They do. Nami's been locked in for AV. So we have a Nami Caitlyn lane, which is, I mean, very comfort for AV.
It's a fantastic lane, honestly. I mean, Tycaller's Blessing, probably going to be maxed out second there as well. And there's not all that much... apart from Jhin, there is no ability to start a team fight, is what I will say.
Nope.
Hoping that Rogue can flash forward and hit a root for me just isn't good enough. So you've really got the Jhin ultimate coming out, and then damage out of every other quarter is really what they're relying on.
Something I really like from Sin, though, is although they can't start these team fights, if they ever get engaged upon by AV, whew, good night.
I mean, unless you catch one of them out. But they're going to have to be careful. I mean, there's so many things. I would say, you know, once again, a better, well-balanced team comp coming out of AV. But early game power, certainly in the bottom lane, is going to be difficult to overcome. Triple certainly needs to be rolling. Rift Herald has forced Orianna out of the meta slightly at the moment because mid-turret is much easier to break with that buff. So we'll see which draft is able to come out ahead. And Ryoma versus Triple is just so fun. Victor versus Orianna. That's the area of the map I really want to concentrate on because that's one of the matchups that, you know, isn't really favored by either. Victor's certainly got an okay time into it. I mean, you would say it would maybe be slightly Victor favored, but Orianna not going to be all that worried. And then it's about whether Sybil and Juves actually get in there this time. Because last game, Sybil was so far behind and Juves was non-existent.
And we don't see this matchup very often. We don't see Victor in the current meta very much. Orianna's being pushed out quite a bit, but at the same time, this was a very common matchup in last split's gauntlet run, not just from these two teams, but I think we saw it played from Sin against Legacy as well. That was a very crucial matchup for them as well. So it's going to be very interesting in the mid lane. And from what last game told us, it's definitely going to be where this game hangs in the balance, so to speak. Completely
agree. I mean, whichever mid laner is able to carry through in these team fights and have a better laning phase is probably going to win their team the game. I like Victor at the moment. I think that with Lichbane's, he's still in a good place. And see whether Ryoma can do it back-to-back games, Fish.
Yeah, let's see if he can pick up a very early birthday present for himself as he turns 18 tomorrow. But for now, let's check in with AV's coach, Pinch, talk a little bit about last game and their draft.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Pinch and a rough game 1. So what, as coach, do you say to AV backstage to get him prepped for game 2?
Sure. Well, you don't really want to dwell on the mistakes of the previous game, but something I do want to tell you guys is that we didn't lose to Sin that game. We lost to ourselves. Like, we made a lot of mistakes that really weren't us in scrims. We wouldn't make them, so we just need to work on translating to stage at this point.
All right. Well, the other thing I want to talk about is Blinky's picks today. We saw Kalista, we've seen Caitlyn. Is he off the Ashe forever now?
No, definitely not. I'll pick him Ashe when it's the best pick, but at this point, like, Caitlyn's very strong on the patch. They banned out 80 carries. We were very ready to play Kalista, so yeah.
Excellent stuff. All right. Well, best of luck, and thanks for speaking to us.
All right. Thanks so much.
There you go. Speaking about AV, they lost to themselves, according to Pinch last game. Don't disagree with that one. Blinky is very vocal on Twitter that if he gets Caitlyn, he's going to play Pulsefire Caitlyn here today, and he's going to get that skin on the Rift.
Was he?
Yeah. Apparently it was very clunky, but now he's got it. I think it was requests more, so to speak, coming out from people on Twitter instead.
Okay. I don't like Pulsefire Caitlyn. That's the only reason I say it. Yeah, not my favorite skin.
Caitlyn's a
Ooh, Triple's just faked a Raptor start. Did you see that? So he moves the ball, costs himself the mana. All of a sudden, Ryoma's probably going to signal the fact that he thinks Sybil started Raptors instead. Sybil has started blue. See whether that means Sybil wants the cheeky invade or whether there's a play to be made in the bottom lane.
And this is something you kind of talked about in your breakdown of TMO Lee's jungle pathing, how it's very important for Lee Sins to know where the opposite side of the jungler starts. So curious to see if that affects Juves at all in this match. Small, intricate note is also that forces Triple onto a Q start on Orianna. Not going to affect him too much in this matchup. There are certain matchups where you need the E start.
Yeah, definitely not the Victor one. I mean, you want to be able to match a little bit of shove. Victors generally go Q start as well and look to harass you, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. And you can see that this lane matchup so series favored that he can't even get in range of a creep.
Dockler will eventually force that one forward. Blinky getting good damage onto Rogue in the bottom lane. Nice
Blinky,
bubble.
Come on, mate. That was Jake.
Blinky got the damage. Jake got the bubble.
I don't even know if that's true. I think
technically I wasn't wrong.
I think Blinky hit him with one Piltover Peacemaker and Jake's Tycaller blasted him in the face as well. Ebb and Flow does sick deeps at the start of the game, Fish.
You got 2 crosses, not wrong at all. Right, already AV getting a good push in this bottom lane. Lee Sin for Sybil, Caitlyn for Blinky, Oriana for Triple, couple of picks across the board for AV, and
Jake got Nami. How did we forget that? The guy's synonymous with the champion.
there you go. That was purely damage coming out from Jake in the bottom lane as well. I mean, but we kind of said this about AV's draft last game. That looked very comfortable. It looked like a great draft for them. Curious to see if it's going to be a different story this time around. See if Pitch's pre-game pep talk worked out for him.
Topside gank is on the table here. That's a massive creep play. Curious has seen it coming. Will spot out now probably. No, actually didn't ward over the wall. That's a mistake from the young player. But Juve's not going for it. I mean, it's still hard to dive Renekton. Probably not one of the easiest top laners to execute upon. That's great damage.
Good bubble coming out from Jake, though. Will lock down the Zyra a little bit further forward. Forces a heal to come out. Great crit shot from FBI, though, making sure he constantly trades against the AD carry and support.
Yeah, trading into Jake was into Blinky was really important there, because otherwise Jake would have been able to just buff the Caitlyn up from really far back, and they would have won that trade convincingly. They still win it quite heavily though, Fish, because that is 2 summoner spells burnt on the side of Sin.
Yep.
And absolutely nothing burnt apart from the potion of the AD carry on the side of AV.
I mean, if you want to go and look at how the best supports in the OPL are separated, just go and watch that from Jake. He got caught out, but was still able to land crucial skill shots. It was great to see.
Yeah. Whereas I would have panic flashed. Probably headbutted a wall.
I would have flashed into the turret, died there, and blamed my teammates afterwards. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, and Triple just farming it out at the moment. We don't expect too much from this. It's just a control mage matchup.
We expect them to use their ultimates not to kill them, but to
waves.
shove them off waves. The old Oriana versus Victor special. And so far, both junglers are just farming, and you'd have to say that's pretty good for Ricardo.
Top side of the map, Series not doing too good against Dockler. This is his signature champion. We haven't seen too much of it. I believe he's only had 1 game in the OPL on Jace.
Oh, Fiddle in some trouble here, I think.
Here comes Juice. Will jump forward, gets good damage down. Still needs to use the Q. But good damage onto Sybil. Juice will defend his Raptor camp, or what's left of it.
Yeah, actually really nicely done from Move. Doesn't overextend, just puts in the damage he needs and then gets out. I like that. Will be spotted by a ward, however, so it is going to be a scouted invade that he's about to go for.
Again, this Kha'Zix picks is not something we see too much internationally, if I'm not mistaken. Very popular for Jews. A couple of other junglers in the OPL do pick it up as well.
I mean, yeah, I actually think Kha'Zix is absolutely fine at the moment. I just don't know if it has higher priority than Lee Sin. But he's certainly doing fine right now.
What I do like about the Kha'Zix is if you get an Infernal Dragon spawn early, it makes Roof Herald much easier to take as well.
I mean, Lee Sin also does both of those objectives completely fine.
See if Sybil will put down the pressure he needs to in this match. Series now trading quite aggressively against Dockler. Dockler yet to use his own teleport though, and going very aggressive against Series. They're using quite a bit of mana.
There's the first ultimate of the game. Dropped on a creep wave nonetheless, Fish.
Yeah, watch this next creep wave just get ultimate by Triple. So Dockler is going to be forced to use his teleport to get back into this lane unless he's going to sack all these minions. We'll lose a couple here.
Oh, he's going to lose a couple regardless. I would almost say that's worth a walk.
Yeah.
He's going to TP.
Okay.
I mean, it would have been pushing against him, which is why sometimes it's just better to walk. Already still going to be pushing against him.
Gets 1 minion of extra of experience and kills 1.
I mean, and you're already up by 16 CS. This is a win lane harder TP for me, as opposed to an actual, you know, I'm going to play the tanking around the map. Jace doesn't really add all that much to ganks, however, so potentially worthwhile. You can see Blinky and Jake are consistently pushing in, potentially with the TP play behind them, would be forced off that.
Tubes is now in the bottom side of the map, making his way towards his own blue buff. Dockler is going to use this time to try and take blue for himself, so aggressive teleport wasn't technically to the top lane, it was into AV's jungle.
It certainly was. Patience.
No, Dockler, Dockler, get it, Dockler, he's going to reset, Dockler, no! Why do you keep doing this? Stop it! Oh, no, I can't do this anymore.
I mean, and the jungler's nowhere near it. They know where Sybil is. They know where everyone else on the map is. There's just no reason to be that greedy with the patience meter. Now he's behind in levels. Sybil got that as well, by the way.
Good steal from Sybil. Gets the juicy plant as well to heal himself back
Doppler
up.
now has no mana because he's burnt it all on a blue buff. And it's gone with the Blade of the Ruined King.
Don't understand. This is the third time this game, this series I should say, that we've seen a reset. Twice have been quite crucial.
And twice have been unnecessary. I mean, game 1, Sybil was trying to get a quicker jungle clear, was trying to be very efficient with his time. And that time, Doppler could have just taken it actually in the pit.
Mistakes were made coming up from these two teams. Juve's quite low on health here, but Sybil is looking to try and be aggressive. Juves will get an evolution on towards his Q, so Sybil now has to be very careful of Kha'Zix. Good ward. Doppler's now forced back to base, so that teleport top lane is going to cost him, actually. Sybil's now looking to try and take this red buff.
Actually looking to collapse onto Sybil here.
There's a jump from Juves, gets the ultimate, flashes forward, very aggressive from the Kha'Zix. Good kickback. Orianna's shield gets thrown out, keeps Sybil safe.
Oh, Juves.
He's in trouble. Looking for the shockwave, gets the blast cone over. Series is now chasing. Doppler going to get caught first blood. Actually picked up by Triple. That was a surprise kill there.
And all of a sudden, Doppler's in so much trouble.
Yep. No mana. Ultimate available for Orianna. Does have flash. Shockwave comboed out with the stun. Doppler's a dead man walking. Series gets that kill. AV 2-0 up on the board.
Yeah, really nicely done from AV. Doppler had overstayed. Using that mana on the blue buff cost him massively. All of a sudden, Triple, who would also force Ryoma back, is able to rotate into the jungle. Juves thought he had a kill there, so he used flash, but really it was over-aggressive. And now, even though they're zoning Blinky off a little bit of farm here, Caitlyn's not in any real danger of dying. Things looking quite good for the AV lineup.
Certainly is looking good for them so far. Good lockdown. That's a dead Blink. He's going to try and flash his way away. Does he have the blue suede shoes? One more. Not going to connect. That was quite close as well. Blinky escapes with a sliver of health.
There's no reason for Blinky to be that far up the lane. I mean, he has potentially just cost himself a creep wave there. A little bit greedy out of the AD carry of AV, Fish.
A little bit?
Yep.
That was very greedy from him. He's still 20 CS down somehow in this bottom lane. FBI's caught up. Fantastic.
I mean, Jake left to cover mid lane for a lot of that skirmish that was happening in the jungle, so it makes sense. But at the same time, losing double summoner spells certainly is not what you want.
No.
I mean, without ultimates available, there's very little kill threat on him now. Whew. But still great damage coming out of FBI.
It's very comfortable on Jhin. Ashe and Varus were available this game. Went for Jhin instead. Sybil is going to find Juves again, or don't think he's going to want to take that fight. Meanwhile, Series, he's in trouble. Dockler's chasing him down. Doesn't have that Shock Blast combo yet. Will have the Q, though. Flash.
Oh!
I'm not even going to talk about that.
And Dominus is nearly back available, so Series can now stay in this lane. Doesn't have to go back at all.
Doppler just used all his mana as well. He's got to be careful. Series can just double dash in. Not going to. Instead, we'll get the Rage meter and heal up nicely. Oh, bottom lane though. FBI's just killed Blinky. Juves came down for a gank.
So not having those summoner spells certainly bad.
Ryoma dodges out the Q, gets flashed on by Sybil, but Ryoma turns it around. Good flash away from the Shockwave. Forces Orianna to use heal as well. Sybil still trying to find him inside of Fog of War. Can't.
Double summoner spell used out of Ryoma there. 2 summoner spells used on the side of AV as well. Series still going topside.
Dockler's in trouble. Dominus has been popped. Can he get the stun? Gets all of it. Good use of the Furry meter there. Very good patient play from Series. Dockler just gets taken down. And
this is Dockler's signature champion as well, Fish. Into a lane matchup they said they wanted. Jake using the bubble there. Not really sure what those ultimates were about. Potentially trying to slow down the turret take, but did not work.
Nope. So we will have first turret for Sin, but topside map is just falling apart for him. Here's that kill onto Blinky, just walking against the wall.
I mean, there's nothing he can do. He has no summoner spells, no boots. He's dead. He killed himself 2 minutes before that when he stuck around in the 2v1 lane and had to burn both summoner spells, Fish.
Meanwhile, mid lane, Triple's able to get some good damage onto Ryoma's turret. He's slightly ahead in experience. It's probably due to Ryoma running around the jungle for quite some time. But topside, Series is now doing well. He's in a position where he's 2-0 against Dockler. He's now going to have a comfortable lane against his chase.
Yeah, now it becomes a good lane for Renekton. Any lane where you get 2 kills in a turret is going to be a good lane for you.
He's good items as well. Phage picked up as well as the Ninja Tabbies.
Ooh.
Sybil's all going to try and take down Rift
rush
Scuttle.
it.
That's going to be picked up easy. Rogue was close
Actually
by.
needs to pick it up. Why is he not picking it up?
Stop him, Rogue. Ooh, good snare. Still picking up, though.
Close. This game's giving me some worries, Fish.
Oof.
TPing. Actually, they want to keep Dockler really far down.
Okay, there is a play across the map, though. Juice gets a kill on the Sybil. Dockler's making the right move. He's backing away from the turret.
My caramba.
So that's actually a good play from Dockler. Backs away. He's going to spot out this blue buff being taken away by Series.
I'm talking about Sybil getting caught out in his own jungle again. Today is not a day for junglers.
Got it. Dockler steals that underneath Series and Triple's nose. Disappointing. Here's the kill on Sybil. Just walks the corner. Hello, surprise!
Just completely blind. They know that they're playing towards top side of the map. No need to take that path. Yeah, pretty inexcusable.
Juves and Rogue welcome them to the Sim Fido. Offers him a hoodie. He rejects. They get angry. So they kill him instead.
And all of a sudden, I mean, Juves is absolutely fine in this game. He's level 8 on Kazik. Picked up a kill. He's been invaded quite heavily on top side of the map, but still doing fine CS-wise. And this game, they're just trading halves. And sure, they're slightly ahead right now, but all that really is the difference between Triple and Ryoma.
The big problem I see for AV at the moment is Blinky's going to fall off in this mid-game. Curious to see what he's going to be able to get done. Whereas FBI, mid-game
Juves is behind him. Here we go.
Gets on top of Jake. Jake's incredibly low. Konikor comes out. Blinky's locked down by the ultimate. Will take so much damage. The crit shot tags Triple, though. Not the right target. Dockler charging forward with that blue buff. They're going to pick onto Jake, and now they're going to be able to siege mid lane turret as well.
And another mid-game where AV are kind of just meandering around the map and getting caught out time and time again. Not giving away triple kills and the like this time around, but still nothing like a coordinated mid-game.
Series has popped his Dominus, just trying to clear out this lane.
That's smart. I mean, they took 2 turret. They had 2 auto attacks at the turret there, and Series was able to clear everything else out. He's already got Black Cleaver. You can see that they want absolutely nothing to do with the Crocodile.
The rest of AV will now charge back towards the mid lane. Sin will back off. Gold's dead even though.
Yep.
3 kills to 3, 2 turrets to 2.
And I mean, if you put a top laner this far behind, you do not want the gold to be dead even. That should be a legitimate win condition, but it certainly isn't at this stage.
Now AV looking to try and charge this over. Look at Blinky's health. We'll get the Avant flow to heal him back up, but FBI 2 attacks as well as the Q will be enough to poke him out. Series taking up the turret. AV make a good counter push. Yep. Now they are a turret up. Oof. Ouch. Blinky, stop catching these skill shots. Not great.
Safest hands in all of Inner Sydney, Fish. If you have a skill shot, he will catch it. He is the Ash Ketchum of the OPL.
If there are any cricket teams out there looking to pick up an OPL team, AV is the way to go right now. They've already got a wicket keeper on their side. As much as you joke about it, he's just caught another one there.
I'm not joking at this stage.
My goodness. Get him on Ezreal. At least he got a free splash every 6 seconds.
He's actually not a bad Ezreal player.
He's not. That's why I think it's a good idea. I haven't seen much Ezreal in Split 2.
Nah, Ezreal's bad. That's the problem there.
But AV do have a slight lead, thanks to the turret taken in the mid lane.
Here we go. Good gank coming in here.
Ryoma throwing out the gravity field. Good flash from Ryoma. Going to try and trade with Sybil though. Ultimate is available. Shockwave pulls it back in. He's locked down a little bit too slow there.
Beautiful gank there. Gets actually both summoner spells, and they get the pick and drop Rift Herald here. A lot of the wave clear gone, although Triple needs to be careful here.
Rift Herald will charge forward, gets good damage onto this turret. FBI is there to try and stop this. The turret may actually fall, and Juice taking a lot of damage. Goes in, Sybil! Very aggressive there. We'll be able to get back out. FBI is now being locked up by a bubble and the tidal wave. Trying to flash away from this one. Good headshot from Blinky. It will be Triple that picks up that kill though. And AV have now got the train going.
And off the back end. Actually, they pick up another kill. That's going to be Dockler falling down with flash available. No idea what happened there. They're going to break the base at only 17 minutes in.
Yeah.
And this is the confident AV that we would like to see week in, week out. Still a scrappy early game, but starting to pull it together.
Yeah, much better coming out from AV. Able to take 2 turrets there. There's top side straight.
See, one dash, second dash. Told you it's the second dash.
There we go.
The mathematical dashes.
just can't do anything against this Renekton. In fact, I think he was a little bit too slow, changing there, trying to kite him a little bit too long.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought that should be Doppler's kill, especially with Flash available.
I mean, didn't have Boots 2, that's all it is. Boots 2 versus Boots 1. And completely agree. If you're going to go for the kite there, you flash early and look to get a couple of extra shots in. Very close 1v1, but 2 levels now in Series' favor, as well as being able to grab himself that Tiamat. He's getting closer to being unstoppable in the split push.
Not good, but still just about 3,000 gold in AV's favor.
Also, I feel like Doppler uses his skills on way more than other Blade of the Ruined King Jace in one game. Most Jaces just sit in hammer form and, cannon form and just auto-attack the wave down, don't really throw it out. Every time I look at him, he's kind of on half mana, or even further below.
Is this going to be another blue steal? Series comes in. Almost.
No.
Roma gets it. Now
That's
Series
dead.
in trouble. Jubes jumps on top of him. There's the ultimate being used, and we're going to have to wait a little bit longer later. Jenna, find out next time on the OPL what happens to Series. Is he going to die? Is he not?
Yeah, he had hands off the keyboard. It looked like he actually got caught against the wall in a ward. I mean, that's just what it looked like to me. We'll see if that actually is what happened. But he's kind of saying, I have no idea what just went down.
Potentially. He could have tried to dash in, and the blue buff died, not giving him the second dash back out.
No, I don't think that was what happened. No.
Okay.
We'll have a look at it again. But that is definitely not what I saw, Fish.
Yeah, so Series is the one, seems to be, he's the one that is having problems at the moment. We'll find out later what this pause is about. He's currently talking to the referees.
You can see a little bit frustrated, actually, when you're 3-0-0, about to give away first kill for yourself on the game on what was a pretty aggressive invade
And
by himself.
It becomes a shutdown as well, because he's got 3 kills back-to-back without dying.
Yep. Also gives away a lot of tempo on the side of the map that we're trying to play towards.
So let's see what's going to happen here between the two teams. Sin, at the moment, I mean, they're behind, but they're not going to be too uncomfortable with it, because at the moment, the lead is really, it looks to be Sybil as well as
It's
Series
triple in
top side.
series, I think.
Triple in
I
series,
don't think
not Sybil.
Sybil's all that much ahead. He's 0-1-3, I think, at the moment.
I mean,
Has
which
had
is
a couple
great.
of turrets.
Which is great for the Orianna, but Renekton's still going to have a tough time diving into this Sin lineup until he picks up more defensive stats.
Oh, for sure. I mean, at the same time, being able to dive past the Zyra as a Renekton is not impossible.
Going to be curious to see what's going to happen later on in this game. Still fairly even between the two teams.
Cool. At the same time, you can see players not allowed to talk. Ryan are actually staring pretty intently at his screen. This has been a pretty good set for Tommy so far. I mean, his Victor's been bullied around slightly, but I think that was given, in fact, how much priority was on the top side jungle and the fact that he had to collapse up there. You noted that he missed a lot of CS underneath his turret when he was trying to run upwards towards the red buff area.
I mean, from what we saw so far from Roma, it seems like everything he's done has been right. He's been playing fantastically. Just the times he hasn't looked great, it's been the opposition being just better in that situation. So no mistakes from him, which is crucial. Unforced errors are the number one way in all sports for other teams to capitalize on.
Yep.
And we're just being told that it's a PC-related issue at the moment with Series. So apparently something might have gone wrong when he went in for that engage.
Get some elevator music going, see what's going on here, and see if we can get you guys back into game as soon as possible.
And hopefully not going up to the 44th floor, just floor 5, a little bit faster. Try and get back into the game as quick as possible.
Is that a meme?
No.
Okay. I was like, I have no idea where you're going with this. Have I missed something completely? But yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting time of the game for AV, because we know that Sin are pretty good at mental resets. They showed that throughout the gauntlet. They were able to keep themselves quite composed, and they were able to battle through that. AV in the past is a little bit of a younger team, a little bit less experienced.
All we need, though, is a mirror right now for Jube, so he can tell his team he's seen this one before. As always, when they're at match point against AV. Yeah, but still investigating this issue. Hopefully it's going to be able to get resolved soon. But what do we expect now? Moving forward in this match against Sin and AV, it's slightly in AV's favor. Still 2,000 to 3,000 gold, especially if a series is going to fall here.
Yep, I mean, what we expect is for AV to want to start grouping up in the team fight. Caitlyn's eventually going to come online, about 1.5 items right now. As soon as you get towards the 2.5, 3 items, Caitlyn's going to want to group up in team fight. Orianna is in the exact same situation as well, so would not be surprised to see them all on the same map, apart from the Renekton. Renekton has to join a little bit later, has to be able to get access to that backline. And if Series does fall down here, getting the shutdown reset will be good for the mid lane and jungle right now of Sin Gaming, but it still won't mean all that much when he goes 1v1 versus Dockler, who unfortunately is just in a world of trouble at the moment on Jace, falling behind so far in the early game. So I think that it's not really going to change the tempo of the game, just gives a little bit more gold into those two people in your screen's pocket.
I mean, it was Coach Jish who was the first one to really speak about Dockler being known really for his Jace on the top side of the map. But we haven't seen too much from him. The first time he pulled out Jace was phenomenal. It was great to watch. This game, not so much.
I mean, you say it was great to watch, but once again, it was with Talia. And I'm telling you, Ryoma is a really good player. I would love to split push when Ryoma is playing Talia. He just makes it look so damn easy. You can do kind of whatever you want. He swoops in, kills you. I mean, last game, we saw that the Galio was being shoved under tier, like, base turrets, and Ryoma was still showing up somehow and able to pick up kills. So the Jace this game has certainly been much poorer, and that's without anyone being able to help his lane. It's been pretty much a pure 1v1, and he's made a lot of mistakes.
I mean, Roman's had a great split last split when he joined Sin. Great opportunity to grow. Now he's unleashing his full potential in split 2 here. It's evident in all the games he's played so far. Unfortunately, we have been yet to resolve this technical difficulty, so we're going to send it back to the analyst desk to break down the game a little bit further.
Thank you, Fish, and thank you, Spawn. Well, we're in the midst of a pause due to a PC-related issue, but AV kind of have the lead right now, gents. And Dockler's Jace, as the cast was just talking about, not looking too strong. Tegan, you kind of predicted this.
I said it wasn't very impressive before, and it just hasn't looked very impressive right now. He's losing just straight 1v1s, and he's building for it. We were seeing this upstairs. When you go blade first, you're going the blade into cleaver, into what have you. You're going the straight, I'm going to 1v1 you, I'm going to split push build. And it does not look like he's ever going to be able to 1v1 this Renekton.
It's actually so ironic that this guy was known as a Jace one-trick, 1,000 games. Only a 1,000-game Jace player would build Bork into Cleaver. Like, no one does that really. But, like, that pretty much means that he just wants to solo, like, be on his own island and just do his own solo queue thing. And the fact that it backfired and he's been solo killed twice is just... Yeah, I don't know. Ceres is playing great.
So if you're Sin, then how should Dockler have played the Jace then? Do you not want to see Jace as a split pusher? Like, what's the build then?
I'm not going to tell a 1,000-game Jace player how to play.
You know,
right?
Yeah, but what's the more talk us through what is the more regular
that blue
build
buff.
then?
It was the blue buff.
Yeah,
I actually
the reset,
think
the blue buff
reset.
Reset.
People may not know, but that blue buff reset probably it gave first blood. It meant Juves got solo, not solo killed, but Orianna flashed over the wall. Like, it snowballed. A lot of people, it actually snowballed quite heavily and ended up losing him the lane because he played early game quite well.
So why did he pull out of that blue buff then?
I don't know.
He didn't pull out of it. He was just trying to be really greedy in where he takes it. He wanted to be as close to getting out of there as possible by the time he took it, just in case someone showed up to.
I think he was worried.
Punish him.
He was definitely worried someone would come around the corner and steal it from him, but. Yeah, it was just, I don't know. Both of these teams are really struggling to secure blue buffs.
I even said on Twitter they're banned from taking buffs. All of them, every player in that game. I don't care who it is. No one can take buffs anymore because they're all horrible at it. It's just resetting. It's being stolen. Nothing's going right with the blue buffs, the red buffs. Stay away from them. Just go back to your lanes.
Hashtag I'm OPL or at OPL if you've got any questions for our analysts during this game pause. Like I said, if you're just joining us, Sin have taken the first game, but AV have quite a strong lead in that second game. But we're pausing now because of a PC-related issue. And should we maybe take a look at a replay, shall we, Tegan?
Yeah.
In this second game, as we bring it up on your screen. I know you want to talk about this because this for you was a moment that kind of things began to change.
Yeah, this was basically the point where I felt like AV had full control. I feel like Sybil could have kick flashed there, but I guess he was completely content in knowing Triple would just follow up and get the kill. Then they are able to drop the Rift Herald, go deep for the tower. On the other side, you have Sirius staying in that split push where he already knows he's extremely strong, so you have both parts of the map working for you. I want to criticize AV a little bit. I feel like they could have taken this tower a lot cleaner. There's no need to go for this dive. Just take the objective and get out. Yep. Why are you overcommitting?
Was he going for that dive then just, because he's playing aggressively? It's almost like a show of force, right?
It might be Lee Sin syndrome where once you land the Q, you got to take the Q.
Exactly.
But that's like my only criticism of basically their macro play right there was take the objective, then look for kills. Don't look for kills on an objective when it's pretty much free for them. And on the other side of the map, you also have Sirius dealing with Dokla, and he actually got the 1v1 at the same time as well. So you know they're working on all cylinders. But when you're already getting ahead, you don't need to keep trying to get even further ahead. Just let it happen naturally.
You say, well, I would so you're saying, because the whole thing is like when you're ahead, you shouldn't try and you should try and get further ahead. But you're saying don't force it too much. Just let it happen organically. Is what you're saying. Yeah,
that's pretty much spot on. You don't need to overreach when you're in advantageous positions like that. You're already ahead. You're already taking pretty much probably the best possible trade they could have. Good use of Rift Herald, good split happening. Why are you then trying to overcompensate and go even harder when you can just take the advantages, reset, get the gold on your players spent, and then move out again?
But do you feel like they were punished for that overreach?
No.
Not at that time, but they definitely could have been. Definitely could have been, and there's no need to give Sin the opportunity to come back in the game. They have control of the game right now. And why give your opponent a chance to win when if you just close it out nice and cleanly, you pretty much are unbeatable?
Right, but these are choices people are making, and not just sort of like spur of the moment decisions. That sorry, just like reactions or whatever. You're saying people have decided to overreach in this moment.
Well, I mean, it's not like they went into that tower and said, "Hey, I'm going to dive randomly." You know, it was just a series of things hit Juves. He got really low. Sybil probably thought he'd just kill him and went for it, but in reality, he wasn't able to kill it, and that might just be you haven't been in that situation enough in practice. You didn't really judge your damage effectively. You didn't know what the enemy team had to deal with it. So, you know, it's hypercritical of what they're doing. Keep in mind, it's very critical, but that's where we come in.
While we're waiting for this sort of this PC-related issue to be resolved, guys, I want to ask you about like what Sin do to reclaim this game, because they're kind of a bit behind right now. If we go back into this game, I mean, how do you see their path to victory from here?
I think they scale. I think they outscale. I know Rama on Victor 6 items would solo carry this game.
Right.
As well as Jace should win the 6 item battle. Renekton does fall off. If they can somehow manage to get this game to go on for another 30, 20 minutes, then they can probably come back into this. But AV do have the Caitlyn, they do have the Orianna and the Lee Sin. So they've already broken bot tower, I think. They've already got bot tower inhib. So this game does not look really good for Sin.
Yeah, the problem is how do you stall out? Because AV have a team that can force the issue, especially when their split pusher is going to have to be dealt with by more than one person. And I don't believe Sin was running double T, but I can't quite remember. But if AV just set Sirius off in a side lane, preferably opposite Baron, and then start baiting at Baron or start baiting at objective, it's going to be really difficult for Sin to deal with it. And the question is, how do they deal with that? They're going to have to start trying to make picks, trying to control vision in key areas and work through it like that, as opposed to just trying to stall and hoping it doesn't get worse. At least that's how I sort of approach it.
All right, we are currently in a pause due to a PC-related issue. We're going to take a 10-minute break. And while we resolve this issue, we'll be back right after this.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to get back into the second match between Sin and AV. Unfortunately, we've had some PC issues apparently on Series computer. We had to have an extended pause, so we're going to get back into the game very shortly. And what we've been able to do is, by the power of magic and technology, rewind the game a few seconds back before Series was taken out of the blue buff, so he did not die there.
Yeah, not even in the game. Chrono Break still goes off somehow. So glad that we're back in. As you can see, it's still a 4,000 gold lead over to AV. Where we left off was Series was winning the 1v1 split was quite hard against the Jace. You can see that's now being swapped around. So Jace is going up against Orianna, although unfortunately for Dockler, both of the solo laners are 3-0, so not really going to have a good time against either of them.
And they're the big carry points for AV at the moment. Series, after a disappointing game 1, has bounced back slightly, but Dockler's given him a lot of breathing room to work with his Jace top so far. Curious to see how he's performing as triple in this side lane split push. They're also curious to know that they've sent Renekton against the Victor. It's Rogue's going to lock down 2 members. He's going to go for a fight here. Good damage coming out from him.
Bubble.
Great bubble. Good shock blast combo as well from Dockler, but they don't commit to the engage.
This is hilarious. Blinky, even when his team wins a little bit of a back and forth, still takes a lot of damage from catching skill shots. You can see that actually Series used Flash as well as Ultimate there to try and get away from Ryoma.
Yep.
So even though he was winning the 1v1 split push against the Jace, not doing as well against the Victor.
Ryan was able to use his Chaos Storm as well in that trade. Didn't take too much damage himself. Eventually went back to base. So Series is still split pushing.
I mean, he's going to get nearly full health back off that wave, can dip into the jungle, see if there's any camps to take away. And still be quite annoying and obnoxious.
Chip was able to sidestep the captive audience there. FBI was looking for a pick. Choose again, evolving his W second, it seems, so going to be able to get some decent poke out as well as a lot of slow. Sin desperately need that extra bit of crowd control because they can't really engage themselves.
I mean, they have no engage at the moment, so it's about continuing the fight, making sure, you know, the slow of Jin as well as the slow that's going to be coming out of the Kha'Zix is enough for them to be able to continue. Series spotting the fact that Doppler is once again bottom lane now, will go back. Once again, another nice bubble land, but this time it's actually Jake that takes more damage. And this game is just become a little bit of a stalemate over the last 2 minutes as we get back on and the players reacclimatized to pressing buttons really quickly.
I mean, are Sin in a comfortable spot here because they don't really want to engage. They like if AV engage.
They are not in a comfortable spot. Just 5,000, 4,500 gold down. Open inhibitor, losing the 1v1 split push, as well as the fact that Blinky is scaling up very nicely into the game. They do have a good, late game answer to the 1-3-1 if Doppler continues to scale up, or rather the 1-4. Neither team's really going to 1-3-1, but he's going to take a long time to get there. I mean, he's not even halfway towards his Black Cleaver or Bridge 2. And at the same time, you have 2-item Orianna, 2-item Caitlyn. Sin are not comfortable whatsoever.
FBI is picking up a couple of items for himself as well. Rapid Fire Cannon has been completed, but that's essence of Rapid Fire Cannon in comparison to an IE Static Shift Caitlyn. So Blinky is still going to output quite a decent amount of damage.
Depending on how much levels Blinky has in trap, if FBI actually steps on a trap, Blinky will one-shot it. With the Nami bubble on him, as well as the fact that he's got IE already, if it crits on the headshot proc, he's going to kill it.
You normally see trap max second, I believe, from Caitlyn, sometimes even first.
Yeah, generally you see 3 points in tilt over Peacemaker if you're winning the lane, and then continue to max out trap.
There you go. Done. Maxed out
Look at
traps.
that. It's nice when they do the things you say.
Let's see if anyone steps on those traps there. Blinky still catching skill shots, but not having as bad as a game. Sybil does get locked down here, but healed up nice and easy. Captive Audience does not connect, and again, it's just AV trying to push for these small advantages. Sin holding on, trying to farm up waves, crashing towards their turret. Again, the later this game goes, the less the gold lead that AV have acquired matters.
We're only 22 minutes in though, Fish. I mean, people haven't even really picked up second items yet. It's been a relatively slow game, especially given the fact that we were in a pause for a while. So I mean, the longer the game goes, I think we're talking towards 35, 40 minutes as Triple just 1v1 Ryoma.
He did have Sybil's help
I
top side
had
of
Sybil's
map.
help. Okay, good. Sybil flash in.
They're looking for a return. Triple does get locked down. Rogue flashes forward. There's the shockwave being used, but only locks down the Zyra.
Teleport has gone a little bit too far. It's cancelled, actually. Dockler's flashed on top of him again.
Yeah, gets cancelled, and now Series looking for that fight. Dockler trying to kite back away from this one. You can see the stun being charged up by Series as soon as he possibly can. Will get it. Slice, dice, picks up the kill. Teleport cancel, but still a one-on-one trade. Meanwhile, Blinky's been able to take down Rogue, gets jumped up by Juves. FBI throws a crit shot at his face. Captive Audience gets dodged out by Jake, who flashes over the wall. And that's been a chaotic trade all across the map.
Yeah, it certainly has in the end. What is it, a 3 for 2? In
going.
favor of AV, although yes, you're right, they're still continuing to chase Fish, and Juves actually might have just caught Jake.
Great Captive Audience as well from FBI, locking him down off the back of the spikes thrown out by Juves. So that's 3 kills for Sin, trading for, I believe, 3 as well?
Yep, 3 for 3. So in the end, everything's normal. Summoner spells burn everywhere. Let's take a look at what actually happened here. Flash kick, good damage coming out. Didn't even get the ultimate off. I mean, that is as simple as you like, Fish. Big worry still is the fact that Dockler keeps dying.
He's 0-4. Has his Black Cleaver now. So 2 items to 2, but Series is now heading back to base. Already has the core components of the Renekton build picked up. Now going towards the Gargoyle Stoneplate next.
Nearly has it. I mean, he's just so far ahead.
This is where he comes online. The Titanic Hydra Black Cleaver combo gives you so much health. Just the simple Chain Vest as well as Negatron Cloak, that's going to give you enough to be able to sustain through team fights nice and easy. The active of the Stoneplate is always a nice touch. Yep.
Oh, not again.
Going on towards Ryoma here. Can use the ultimate this time round, but has to dodge his next Q, or will he need to? Because Juve shows up. Picks up a kill for his team.
Yeah, it looked like Sybil thought that he was going to have a shockwave on the back end of that, but did not come through. Now Dockler looking to chase in, and Sin have got a couple of picks back in their favor in the last couple of minutes, Fish. And this is what I was saying. I mean, Sin seemed to be one of the teams that actually withstand pauses quite well, able to stay switched on towards the game across high-pressure situations, and now they're shoving in for a seed.
Good damage from Dockler into the back lines. Juve's looking to try and dash on in. Great lockdown from Captive Audience. Just allows Sin enough time to pick up the mid lane outer turret. Pulling the gold lead back slightly. They're now about 3,000 gold behind AV.
Heads up play out of Juves there, able to force Triple away. Gives his team the space to be able to disappear into Fog of War. Otherwise, that was a potential collapse coming out as Series was heading back into the mid lane. Big worry is right now experience. You can see level 12 and 13 for Blinky and FBI. That's relatively close. Everywhere else on the map, I mean, Triple's a full level, nearly a level and a half over Ryoma at the moment. It's 3 levels right now for Series. The solo laners for Sin are just so far behind.
That's a big one, but Blinky's been caught out. Flash forward from Juves will get locked down by Sybil. Great kick in the Piltover Peacemaker picks up that kill. FBI now in trouble. Ryoma tanks up the ultimate from Caitlyn, keeping FBI alive a little bit longer, but now he's been exhausted. Dodges the bubble, but Series slices and dices on in. Ryoma desperately trying to run away. We'll get the Storm Raider Surge proc. No, it's actually Death by Touch he's picked up, using the Ghost to try and run away. Dockler going to do what he can, but there's a Crocodile right behind him who dices over the wall. Sybil is very low. Dockler would definitely be looking for that snipe, and AV say, let's try Baron now.
Exactly right. All of a sudden, you get the ebb and flow through. They're going to be able to tank it up with Series, so Sybil shouldn't take all that much damage. It should be a free Baron. And AV finally able to peg this one close back to closing it out. I mean, back and forward game, but that was actually just no summoner spells available for Ryoma and Rogue, and actually going a little bit too aggressive there.
Yep. Almost able to catch that one out, but Series jumping in with the teleport right on time. Dockler, he's not able to do anything at the moment. He's 0-4-0. Doesn't quite have the damage to poke out the backline of Blinky and Jake. We've already seen the Shock Blast does something, but it's not the big hits that you need to deter the backline from maybe moving any further forward.
Yeah, it's not the man immune into lethality. Shock Blast certainly is a little bit more of, you know, in the 1v1, being able to swap into Hammer with the W proc and just be able to go to absolute town. And now with Baron buff as well as a Caitlyn, they should be relatively easy to siege into. Does have to be careful that Juve doesn't hard engage here, but as soon as the team really follows up, game just becomes a little bit of a formality for Caitlyn at this stage.
It's a Caitlyn with Infinity Edge and 2 seal items, the stacking Rapid Fire Cannon, Static Shiv, turrets melt. No one can go anywhere close to this champion as well. Sin already have an open inhibitor on the bottom side of the map, creating a pressure point for them. Ryan was trying to hide inside the bush here.
Oh, he's dead.
Oh, triple! Styles on him!
Yeah, absolutely huge play out of triple. Doesn't even burn the shockwave, so they have it for the next siege. And that's just so much damage that comes out of that Orianna. Already has the 3 items, now has 7 stacks on the dice seal. Series, what are you doing?
He gets caught out. Doppler finally picks up his first kill of the game. A shutdown. Top lane inhibitor turret is taking an absolute beating though. Blinky just does absolutely so much damage. Good lockdown. Blinky's caught another 2 skill shots here. Now at half health. Rogue looking for the engage. Connects onto the support. Doesn't pop the ultimate. Sin are trying to skirt the lines to try and find a fight for themselves. They lose another turret, but no inhibitors fallen yet.
Yeah, interesting that AV is so hesitant because it was still a 4v4. Series did fall down, but they had a couple of minutes where they would have been able to walk up to the Sin lineup. But still, they play this one very safely, Fish. They get back. Important to note that FBI is also on 3 items with the IE, Essence Reaver, and Rapid Fire Cannon. He's probably one of the strongest members on the map.
Maybe you're going to continue sieging for these inhibitor turrets. That's a flash forward from Sybil. Oh no, jumps over the wall. Rogue flashes away. Good damage. Sybil almost fallen down. Doppler looking for the snipe. Not enough damage again to take down Sybil. Juice might be caught out here. Sybil gets delivered over the wall. He still survives somehow. Forces a heal out of triple there.
Yeah, really nice heal out of triple. Otherwise, he definitely would have fallen down. The movement speed burst was also really crucial. So, couple of times that Sybil's taken some Lee Sin Qs this game and regretted it in the end. However, you can see the traps are starting to come out. Baron is still up and available.
Triple just does so much damage on this Orianna. Luden's Echo, Deathcap, Morel, and Nomicon as well as a nicely stacked up Dark Seal.
Yep. Blinky needs to be careful though.
He's been caught by a lot, but he's just standing and delivering against Rogue. Gets that kill. Triple picks it up nice and easy. Konikor does a lot in return to Jake, but AV sitting quite comfortable. Fairly low. Series is not there. Sin could actually look to try and do something here, but decide not to go in.
No engage. I mean, they have absolutely no hard engage. As we said, it's either the Jhin ult that was used or the fact that Rogue can flash forward and look for a route. That's not available either. Instead, they're actually trying their luck of going up against Series, who just pops Dominus and says, get the heck away from me.
AV's still low on their health at the moment. Jake's got no mana to keep them nice and topped up. Let's see how Sin decide to react here. Triple standing right in front, trying to zone off FBI. Can't lock anyone down with Captive Audience. Blinky getting good shots on towards this turret, which is going to fall. Shockwave grabs Ryoma, picks up a nice kill. FBI's trying to run for his life, but Blinky's just flashed on top of his face. Will eventually fall. Sybil gets that kill. Series jumps in to pick up another for the team. Juice has gone down. All 3 inhibitors are going to be broken here. AV could potentially look for the win. Doppler's locked down. Jumped on by Series. Knocks him back in the last second to keep himself alive. Rogue will take one for the team as he stops the Jace from falling. That might delay the game a little bit longer, but still, all 3 inhibitors are going to be gone here for Sin.
Yeah, exactly right. And there's still 20 seconds, as well as 5 members still up and available. Unless something goes catastrophically wrong, they're still going to win this game.
Not going to happen because Sybil's already taken down Doppler, splitting, tanking the turret with the rest of his team. AV, all inhibitors are dead, knocking on the nexus with Rogue, watching as one by one his structures will fall. AV pull up a great game against Sin here in game 2. That will take us to game number 3. Right, we're just getting a little bit of extra star points here after being taken out twice in a row. But AV pull it back. It's now tied up 1-1.
Yeah, and I mean, Sin must have nightmares about Triple's Orianna. I think it is very fair to say by now that if you are the Sin Gaming lineup, do not let Triple have Orianna. Because another game where Triple is able to pick up that pick, another game that Triple absolutely styles on the lineup. I mean, Series played better, but those big shockwaves were what really made that game pretty simple to close out in the end.
And again, Doppler not having a great performance on Jason. Not a great performance top lane again for Sin. He's just hasn't really meshed with the team the way that we really need him to.
Yeah, exactly right. But there were a couple of positive signs there. Juice was a little bit more impactful, was aggressive at times in the game when he needed to be, and able to set up some kills. And FBI on Jhin still looks very good. So I think that that's something that they'll go on and learn from, but see whether they're able to pull it back for game 3, because that's where we're headed.
Yeah, that's where we are going to go into this next match. AV able to pick up game number 2 against Sin, and as we mentioned, it just seems like time and time again, Triple's Orianna is Ryoma's kryptonite, and when you don't have a 10-1 mid laner running around the rift for Sin, things get a little bit dicey. But hopefully be able to see a little bit better performance from them in game number 3, which we'll head to in just a bit, but for now, let's send it back to the analyst desk to break down that game.
Thank you, Fish. Thank you, Spawn. AV taking that second game. And what we've seen today is 2 games, both carried by mid laners. First by Ryoma and that one by Triple. Give me you guys initial thoughts on AV's win. Was it as clean as they would have liked?
Triple and Sybil,
Yeah.
2 men carried that game.
Yeah, yeah.
Those 2 were so impressive that game.
I want to give a shout out to Series. He
Oh,
wasn't.
yes, sorry.
He wasn't effective.
And that guy.
He wasn't effective in the grand scheme of things in big team fights, but he effectively completely neutralized the top lane matchup and made
Yeah.
sure that there was pressure in the side at almost all stages of the game.
So the casters talked about this, but let's give it some context. Dockler, known as a Jason Fiora player, he's, some people describe him as a Jason one trick. I certainly would not say that because I don't have the relevant context for that. But you see him taking one of his favorite champions into top lane, and then Series, who people have had questions about, all split after his kind of a disappointing start. And then this game, when AV are down 1-0 in a series, he is able to kind of pull it out and take wins. And you're a fan of that as well?
I mean, Series, he played all right the first game, but this game, we really needed him to step up. And I think they're probably going to try and get him on Renekton in game 3 because that game he completely neutralized Dockler's probably best champion. And if they manage to get that matchup again, then I think they're laughing.
I'm glad you said we really need to step up. I thought you were a legacy sub, but I guess you're on AV, so it's a bit of
He's taking money from all players.
bit of a spoiler there for all the viewers that hadn't been announced, but I guess that's a thing, right? But he really did need to step up, and he did. I know that he really favors Renekton. They obviously showed that in game 1, and that's why they do it. It was a very strong champion. He was able to just do everything on his own. We might be giving him a bit too much credit because, like we said before in the pause, that Jace did sort of throw away the lane. He was struggling. He tried to take blue, failed, let it reset, and that's where the lane sort of got into disarray. But it was just really, really big from him when it was needed.
Let's do a quick chat about the draft phase. Obviously, Blinky getting on the
There you go.
Caitlyn. My apologies. I'm kind of enjoying seeing him playing these champions that aren't Ashe.
First
yeah?
pick.
Yeah, first
First
pick.
pick, Caitlyn.
I enjoyed seeing it. I don't think he executed it well. We were speaking earlier about how a big strength of her is her traps, how she can assist in sieges, assist in defending sieges. Blinky's traps weren't very good. They were passable. They resulted in Rogue dying when they sieged up the mid lane because for some reason he walked forward and stepped on a trap. Why he did, we'll never know. But they just never felt really, really effective.
Well, let's drill down on this, right? So when you're playing Caitlyn, you want to use the traps to zone out where your enemy can and can't go.
Yes.
But what do you think he did well and what do you think he did poorly in that?
Well, he put down the traps on the flanks most of the time. He was worried of getting flanked by Kha'Zix, but besides that, they didn't really have a tank on the top lane to flank them. They had a Jace. So when it came to sieging a tower, all of his traps were elsewhere, and he couldn't really put out what Caitlyn's really good at. So I do agree definitely that his traps were quite questionable this game.
Meanwhile, I think there's been a lot of talk about these mid laners. Obviously, they banned out Ryoma as Talia. He goes to the Vladimir. I mean, how did he play on that?
Victor.
Victor. I apologize. He goes to the Victor. How does he play on that?
It seemed decent, not great. He was, by his sort of standards, it was a rough game for him. It wasn't a game where he went out and hard-fed and, for the lack of a better term, sucked, but it was definitely not what Sin have come to expect from him, which is the man that puts the team on his back and just sort of wins through him.
I think Sybil, that lane is generally quite close. I would argue that Victor wins that matchup early on, but Triple, I think, seemed to be winning the lane quite early. And then that snowballed into Sybil, I think, getting that first kill at bot lane. And then from there, Triple got his first kill, and then he got his second kill on top, where Victor died again. So I think Triple was really just given that early lead in that matchup. So hats off to Sybil for really doing that. But I could definitely tell that Roma was struggling with a champion to pick in that moment in time. I mean, they banned the Talia, Syndra, Echo. You just have to think that they were struggling to think of what champion can Tommy play.
Do you think that there are things you would fix about this draft going into Game 3 for either of the teams? Like, what in particular do you want to see change?
Well, as you said, Vladimir before,
Yeah.
I actually don't think Vladimir is that bad here.
Yeah.
They have a Nami. He can just go straight past the Nami wave. Orianna can't do anything against Vlad. Literally can't do anything. He just pulls the
Ulti.
pulls the ult. Caitlyn as well. Caitlyn can't really get away.
I think last split we saw Ryoma pop off a bit on Vlad as well. Yeah.
Rama does play Vlad. Maybe he just went to a comfort pick in Victor, because I've seen his Victor when he was back on Legacy Genesis. He used to solo carry games, but yeah, he got neutralized this game.
I mean, we say that Ryoma should have changed it, but it seems like through Sin's drafts, Bensel's the sort of mastermind. He's the one that decides what to pick, when to pick it, why to pick it. So maybe we either say Ryoma doesn't have enough input or isn't giving enough input, but at the end of the day, Bensel was the one that picked it and decided that was what he wanted in the position, right? So it's difficult to really place it all on Ryoma. I don't know if it was draft related. A lot of that game seemed really just up in the air, especially coming out of the pause. There was 5 or 6 kills across the map all at once that none of them really affected each other. It just happened again.
Well, speaking of coming out of the pause, I feel like out of that pause, Sin did show a couple of signs of life, right? They took a couple of kills, but then, I mean, we see this team fight as we bring up the replay T-Gun. I mean, AV are able to take 3 kills, and they get Baron off the back of this.
Yeah, this is just really, really good counter engagement. This is what Nami's great at. Wave to save Blinky, then a bubble. Sybil comes in off the back of it. This is the first time I can remember Series actually being able to complete a TP, and when he does, he is monstrous. He's already 4-0 coming into this fight. Now he's 5-0, able to chase down the Victor. Once you get your splitter, who is already extremely strong, into the fight, and he's obviously there a lot earlier and a lot more effective than Dokla, they're able to do so much with him. That fight in mid, even though it was initiated by Sin, AV took it, rolled with it, and moved off the back of it into securing Baron after taking a couple kills. And that's pretty much what you want from a team with a stronger split push. You can look for spots to TP the split pusher behind and be proactive, or you can leave your splitter off to the side with a comp that can at least peel back a little bit, like one with Nami, and then bring him in late to clean up the fight.
I think it's also important to note that the timing couldn't have been worse for Sin. When they lost that team fight, Orianna and Caitlyn were sitting on 2 items, and they got Baron, and that rolled into them having their 3rd item. Orianna picked up Death Cap. Caitlyn had 80% crit chance. Like, we were just saying, this game's going to end. Like, they've just spiked at the perfect time. Sin, it was probably the worst time that could have happened.
Yeah, and when we saw them pick up their spikes, Orianna 3 items, Caitlyn 3 items, if they failed to end there, that would have been like a massive, massive poor form from them. The weirdest thing I saw after taking that Baron was they went up top, they tried to take the inhib, they took the tower, Series died mid, and they sort of didn't know what to do. I'm not quite sure what to make of it. Maybe you'll be able to provide some insight, but they just sort of hung around, sitting in bushes, trying to make more picks instead of resetting and coming back as a team.
Yeah, this is just advice from when I was a pro player, but
as opposed to a washed-up analyst, but continue.
I'm a washed-up analyst now, but I'm still going to give advice to these guys. Generally, if you know that, okay, AV have Baron, we're in a really bad spot. The only play you can make is you can't sit in your base. If you sit in your base, this is what just happens. You're going to lose the game. You need to push up off their reset from Baron. You need to push up, find a bush or find a spot of where you can make a pick. One pick will probably burn 3 minutes of the Baron, and then that will give. That's the only way you can really get back into the game. But Sin didn't do that. Sin were too scared. Like they stayed in their base. They wanted to farm up. But we just saw AV had the item spikes, the gold lead, and they literally just pushed down mid, and they just brute force and won.
Yeah, and even though Sim were sitting in their base, they were still making just small mistakes in there. Like I touched on before, I was calling out Blinky's Kate traps as being pretty inefficient, but one of the winning picks I want to say was Rogue walking forward onto a trap and just getting blown up. It looked like he just sort of died to nothing, but it was a trap into an ulti, into just other things coming over the wall to blow him up because of that one mistake. And that's really just a testament to how well AV was setting up, to that such a small mistake from Sin pretty much ends the game.
So as we go into this 3rd game, I mean, both of you said that AV were going to take this. Do you still think that's the case?
Oh, it's so close.
Yeah,
it really is. I said AV, didn't I?
You did. Yes, you did.
Okay.
You sticking to your guns?
No.
No.
No, I'm not.
You think you flip flop and you think Sin's going to take this one?
I think Sin's going to take this one.
All right.
I think they have a general good. I think they have a good idea of what worked in game 1. I think they're going to try and move back to that. They probably won't get the Talia.
No.
Which is fine, but I think they need to early pick something.
And if they're back on blue side, that gives them a few more bans they can play around with because they don't have to ban the OPs.
Yes. So I think they're definitely going to prioritize. We've learned in this series that mid lane is the role that's really carrying. I guess Seri's popped off that game as well, but I really think they need to prioritize Tommy getting a champion he wants to be on, such as Syndra. But besides that, Dockler needs to not go 0-3 in lane.
Yeah. So maybe you
go back to a tank. Like, I'm not calling him bad, but I'm just saying, like,
it wasn't a good performance in that second game.
Yes.
And I don't think
it was a rough. It was a
That's
rough
a diplomatic way to put it.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. If you're just joining us and you saw those scrolling stats at the bottom of your screen just before, they were incorrect. The damage done to champions we saw there was actually from the previous game. So we do apologize for that. We'll get that rectified by the time we get into our next game. But Tegon, do you want to change your AV prediction, your AV 2-0 prediction?
You know me, I never change.
Never do. Never do.
It won't be 2-0, but I'm pretty confident they'll bring it back to 2-1.
All right.
They've failed me a little bit, but they're going to go the distance. They're going to take it. I'm looking to Series to have another big game.
Yeah.
You were saying it's a game won and lost by mid lane. I'm hoping they can just neutralize the mid lane, go to the lane that really, really, on his own, just did everything, and then work from there.
And ban the Renekton. He's got no chance.
I wonder what Bensel's going to do.
Yeah.
I reckon Bensel's just like thinking real hard about like...
He's doing the beautiful mind right now.
Like we picked up this top laner from NA who's known to be like a Fiora Jace, but then that didn't work.
Fiora
that doesn't
banned,
work.
But no, Fiora wasn't banned. Take the Fiora into
take the
Renekton.
Fiora.
Maybe that'll be better.
Has he played Fiora?
Yeah.
No. I can't remember.
He's known as it. Yeah.
I don't know. I think they'll go back to a tank top lane.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I believe that brings us to a point where we can get into some highlights from our second game. So we'll be back with game 3 right after this.
Chasing Doppler going to get caught first blood. Actually picked up by Triple. That was a surprise kill there. Rico will charge forward, gets good damage onto the turret. FBI is there to try and stop this. The turret may actually fall. Juice taking a lot of damage. Goes in. Simple. Very aggressive there. We'll be able to get back out. FBI's now being locked up by a bubble and the tidal wave. Trying to flash away from this one. Good headshot from Blinky. It will be Triple that picks up that kill though. Meanwhile, Blinky's been able to take down Rogue. Gets jumped off by Juice. FBI throws a crit shot at his face. Captive audience gets dodged out by Jake, who flashes over the wall. Sybil going on towards Ryoma here. Can use the ultimate this time round, but has to dodge his next kill. Will he need to? Because Juice shows up. Picks up a kill for his team. That's a big one, but Blinky's been caught out. Flash forward from Juice will get locked down by Sybil. Great kick in the Piltover. Peacemaker picks up that kill. FBI now in trouble. Ryoma tanks up the ultimate from Caitlyn, keeping FBI alive a little bit longer, but now he's been exhausted. Dodges the bubble, but Siri slices and dices on in. Ryoma desperately trying to run away. We'll get the Storm Raider surge. No, it's actually Deathfire Touch he's picked up, using the Ghost to try and run away. Ryama's trying to hide inside the bush here. Oh, Triple! Styles on him!
Yeah, absolutely huge play out of Triple. Doesn't even burn the shockwave, so they have it for the next seed.
By a lot, but he's just standing and delivering against Rogue. Gets that kill. Triple picks it up nice and easy. Kurnikor does a lot in return to Jake, but AV sitting quite comfortable. Shockwave grabs Ryoma, picks up a nice kill. FBI's trying to run for his life, but Blinky's just flashed on top of his face. Will eventually fall. Sybil gets that kill. Series jumps in to pick up another for the team. Juice has gone down. All 3 inhibitors are going to be broken here. AV could potentially look for the win. AV, all inhibitors are dead. Knocking on the nexus with Rogue, watching as one by one his structures will fall. AV pull up a great game against Sin here in game 2. That will take us to game number 3. Ryoma just getting a little bit of extra star points here after being taken out twice in a row.